Yeah, that's not accurate. There were never any talks with me for that role with the studio or anybody involved with that motion picture at all. The rumors, or however you want to put it, the internet chatter that went on was strictly that. It was always that. I know how those studio films are cast. And although I was glad that everybody thought that, and I agree, I'd be good for that part. But it isn't the way things work. You have to be in a film that has made a fair amount of money very recently, and or you know having awards. I mean that's a pretty.
Did you see
coveted,
the new Batman?
I haven't seen the whole thing. I've walked in. I've had my film playing at theaters where it was playing, and I've walked in and seen parts of it. And I of course wanted to see Heath Ledger as the Joker, and I thought he did an excellent job. So, yeah. I haven't heard of that. No, I've met him, and I like Vincent Gallo, and I think he's I like his film Buffalo '66. I thought he did an excellent job on that, and but I
think people are just lumping you together with an offbeat director.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean I wouldn't be opposed to working with him at some point on something, but I've talked to him and met him, but we've never talked about anything like that. That I have no clue. No clue. Okay. I wouldn't be good at that impression, I don't think either. See, I wouldn't even know more. I mean, I know who he is, but I am not familiar with what he sounds like. So if you played like 3 different things of somebody that had a similar, I don't know what he sounds like. Right. So if you had played 3 different people that were somewhat like a male voice, and I think he's in his 40s, late 40s. So I would not know what that exact sound is. I'm pretty removed from the popular music culture. I really almost exclusively listen to classical music, specifically Beethoven, post-Beethoven, Romantic era. I like Baroque as well. You know, I've grown up in this culture, so I'm familiar with popular music, or lingual music, I call it. But I usually listen to non-lingual music, and a lot of that has to do with I get the most when I close my eyes and listen to non-lingual classical or Beethoven, post-Beethoven era, Romantic era music. I get a lot of visual imagery, and it's quite inspiring to me. And I also like to score the films utilizing that music, and I feel like I'm consistently. It's never ending to me. The exploration I can get, just the body that exists of that work, the nuances of emotion that can be sought from and utilized for film from the music that exists is vast, and I really spend most of my time thinking about that. I did record another album with the people that one of the 2 producers that
Barnes.
One of the Barneses, but we've not completed it, and it's just my schedule is so hectic, and it's not where my main focus is. That it will be completed at some point. I have another film that I've shot, in fact, that I have to edit together, and those are the things that I'm really focused on. It's frustrating to me, though, because it's very easy to get people to come in to see music venues. Right. And it's very difficult to get people to come in to see films. And it has to do with when somebody's coming into a movie theater, they're going to sit down, maybe alone, in a dark theater and watch something, and it's very unlikely they're going to have a social experience from that. Going to see a music, you're going to meet a girl or a guy or whoever, and you can drink and all of this. So it's this social idea that people are going out to, and it's also frustrating to me because you see regular prices for bands, and people are very readily pay a lot of money for these things, a lot more. But when I go and I show my film, there's a conception that it's about the film, but I have a much higher overhead with my film, which was a relatively inexpensive film, but it's high cost. The first film was somewhere between 150 and 200,000, and the second film was somewhere around 200,000. That's a huge overhead compared to a band. Right. But a band will charge a huge amount of money and nobody will complain. But if I charge anything more than a relatively close amount to what a film is, people think, oh, this is too expensive. I don't consider myself a musician or a singer. I can get away with singing in a studio, and not that we needed to use that.
Pro Tools.
Yeah, we did that before Pro Tools was involved, but I can do a retake if I need to. If I really trained hard, I suppose I could feel comfortable singing a song, but that's work, and it's not what my focus is. And I'd want to do a good performance, and I just that would make me nervous. I'm very confident in doing my show, and I'm very confident in non-singing performance, but to sing with the possibility of going off key and hitting a bad note, that makes me really uncomfortable, and I would not want to do that. But it's like I understand. I mean, maybe I would never say never, because maybe at some point it would make sense for me to do it. But to me, it's too much work veering off into a direction that is not my favorite part. Like I say, with music, my real passion isn't even the popular. I mean, I consider the record that I have out a novelty record, and I like it.
On that,
I mean, it has a sense of humor to it, and I like the record, and it has a good concept to it. I'm proud of it, but it's not what my main focus is.
Well, do you think you'll ever complete that other album then, or is that?
It's actually probably only needs 3 or 4 days of work. It's just both myself and the other person I was producing it with are involved in other things, and it's just.
Would you put that out through like volcanic eruptions, or is that on the label?
Well, there's a little bit of complexity to that because I co-produced it with somebody, and he's still from the era of people that come from. I mean, we've talked about various things, but the era of where getting a record deal and that kind of thing. I know he's beyond that concept now, but there are things there. I would be very particular about how we do it, and I'm sure he would as well. And we'd have to come to some. I'm sure we would come to an agreement on that. But before that, there is a bit of work that needs to be done on it. So. I'm always busy. I always have things I need to do. I walked around Grand Rapids a little bit late last night, and had a lot of interesting old architecture, and I liked it. I walked by the Gerald R. Ford Museum. I'm planning to actually go into it. My hotel's near it.
Oh, okay.
I thought, why not go in and see all about Gerald Ford's life?
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for taking the time out.
Yeah, thank you too.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it as well.